What happens when a woman loses everything in the devastating LA wildfires? And the one person who steps in to help is none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. This isn't just a story. It's about survival, second chances, and how one moment can change your entire future. Screams, sirens, flames. Emma's world is on fire. The sky is a violent shade of orange, thick smoke rolling through the streets like a slow-moving monster. And the heat, God, the heat, it presses down like an invisible hand, squeezing the air from her lungs. She's running. Fast. One hand clutches a single duffel bag, the only thing she could grab. Her other hand grips her car keys so tightly they dig into her palm. Behind her, flames roar like a beast, devouring everything in sight. Houses she once knew, gone. The local diner where her dad used to take her as a kid, swallowed in smoke. A car explodes behind her, sending a shockwave through the street. She stumbles, hitting the pavement hard, scraping her knees, tearing her jeans to shreds. She gasps for air, but all she gets is smoke. For the first time, she realizes she might not make it out. Then, a scream. Her head snaps toward a burning house. A child's cry. Her instincts kick in. She was a firefighter once. She still is. Saving a life, but losing everything. Emma barrels into the burning home, covering her mouth with her shirt. "Hello," she shouts, her voice barely cutting through the crackling flames. A tiny voice sobs. A little girl, no older than 5, huddles beneath a kitchen table. Emma doesn't think, she moves. She ducks, scooping the child into her arms. The heat is unbearable, almost suffocating. Then, crack. The ceiling above them collapses with an earth-shattering roar. She barely dodges in time, shielding the girl with her body. Pain explodes in her back, her legs buckle, her lungs scream for air, but she forces herself to keep moving. There's no time. With one last burst of strength, she kicks the back door open and stumbles into the night, coughing, gasping for breath, but alive. The child sobs into her chest. Safe. But as Emma turns back, watching her home, her life, burned to the ground, she knows. She's lost everything. Nowhere to go. No one to call. 3 days later, Emma sits on the curb outside a gas station, her duffel bag beside her, staring at the cracked pavement beneath her boots. Her nails are caked with dirt. Her face is smeared with ash and exhaustion. She hasn't slept, hasn't eaten. People pass by, heads down, eyes averted, as if she's invisible. She used to be the one people called when their lives were in danger. She used to be a hero. Now, she's just another broken soul left to rot. Her fingers twitch. She pulls a dirty piece of cardboard from the trash and scrawls with a marker she found in a parking lot. Lost everything in the fire. Just need a second chance. She sets it beside her, feeling the weight of her father's absence. Her dad would have known what to do. But he's gone. And her mother, working 2 jobs just to scrape by. She can't burden her. She won't. Tears threaten to spill. She clenches her fists, fighting them back. She was supposed to be stronger than this. Then, out of nowhere, a deep voice rumbles above her. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. Her head jerks up. Arnold. Freaking. Schwarzenegger. The moment that changes everything. Emma stares. He looks like he just stepped out of an action movie. Bigger than life, larger than reality. Every inch of him screams authority. Power. He crosses his arms, eyes scanning her sign. She hurriedly shoves it behind her, embarrassed. She stammers, completely caught off guard. Arnold smirks. Yeah, I know. Her stomach churns with self-loathing. She's filthy. Broke. She feels small, insignificant, and here's one of the most famous, most successful men in the world standing in front of her. He tilts his head toward his truck, his face unreadable. "Come on," he says. She frowns. "Come where?" He nods toward his truck again. "You need food," he says. "Let's go." The conversation that changes her future. Inside a small diner, the smell of sizzling bacon and freshly brewed coffee fills the air. Emma devours her food like a starved animal, her hands shaking with every bite. Arnold watches her quietly, his hands wrapped around his cup of coffee, his gaze unreadable. After a moment, he finally speaks. "What's your plan?" Emma hesitates, her spoon resting in her bowl, her appetite suddenly gone. "I had one," she says, her voice cracking. "Before the fire." Arnold nods, urging her to continue. "I was a firefighter," she says, the words tasting bitter on her tongue. "I trained my whole life for it. It was my dream." She swallows hard, choking back the rising tide of emotion threatening to break through. "And now I'm nothing." Arnold sets down his coffee, his face hardening into something more serious than Emma's ever seen on screen. "You think that?" She exhales shakily. "What else am I supposed to think?" Arnold leans forward, his voice dropping to a low, steady pitch. "You survived. That means you're not done yet." She looks away, unable to meet his eyes. But the weight of his words lands deep inside her. Then he pulls out his phone. "I have a friend," he says, tapping a few keys. Emma raises an eyebrow. "A friend?" He smirks, that signature Arnold grin. "Yeah. Chief of the Fire Academy." Her heart stops. The words barely register. He dials, talks for a minute, then slides the phone across the table, his eyes locked on hers. "He wants to talk to you." Her hands shake as she takes the phone. "Hello." She breathes, her voice barely audible. A deep voice on the other end answers, smooth and commanding. "I hear you're looking for a second chance." Months later, the smell of smoke and burning wood fills her nose, just like it did that fateful night. But this time, Emma isn't running. She stands tall, her fire-resistant suit snug against her body, helmet securely in place, boots planted firmly on the ground. In her hands, she holds a fire hose, the pressure roaring as water blasts out in an unrelenting stream. The fire rages in front of her, towering like an angry beast, but Emma feels nothing but focus, every muscle trained to fight, every inch of her being prepared for this moment. She's where she belongs. And in the distance, behind the caution tape, stands Arnold Schwarzenegger. Their eyes meet. He nods, the unspoken message clear. She remembers his words. "You survived. That means you're not done yet." And as the flames rise higher, this time, Emma is the one charging forward, racing toward danger, knowing she has a purpose. This is her second chance, and she's going to take it.